Good evening, folks. My name is Tony Camber. I'm the president of the Peterson-Doomsdale House Foundation. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us for our second Facebook Live event. Tonight, I have with me our former board member and now newly appointed Director of Development, Ms. Melissa Mershon. She's going to be walking the property tonight with Sarah Clement, who is the member of the Crescent Hill Garden Club, rather. They're going to be identifying some of our more prominent plantings on the grounds. We've also identified with the garden club some 75 different species of plants that we have here. So when you get a chance, come over and take a visit and walk around. It's a nice place to be. A little bit about the foundation and what we do. Our mission statement is pretty easy and pretty clear. Our job is to find financially viable resources for the house in order to continue with our historic preservation of obviously a 151-year-old house is a big task. We do that so that we can continue what I feel like our main mission is to be a resource to both the neighborhood and the community, and even sometimes the city in the bigger picture. How do we do that? We do that through a couple of ways. We're known as being an events venue, primarily a wedding venue. We've tried to change that and expand what we're doing there. We're also doing it through an aggressive grant writing campaign that we initiated probably about 2 or 3 years ago. In addition to that, we do it the old-fashioned way. We simply door knock. We ask for donations. $1, $5, $10, $50, $100. We'll take it. So hopefully tonight you're going to like what you see. Hopefully tonight you're going to like us on Facebook. And if you really, really, really like us, go to our website at www.petersondoomsdale.org, click Donate Now, and I will turn it over to Melissa and Sarah and let you guys enjoy the show. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tony. I think you're right. This really is a very special place. It's a Louisville landmark. It's a place that our neighbors call and get a sense of historic identity. And you're also right. We are passionate about historic preservation. You know, we've got a 150-year-old asset here that we need to maintain, and it is a jewel for the neighborhood. We want this home and we want these grounds to be an attractive gathering place for all kinds of community groups. I would venture to say, Tony, that many of our watchers tonight have been here tonight for a wedding or a wedding reception, maybe a corporate picnic, some kind of anniversary or birthday function, or maybe even a celebration of life. I would bet a lot of our viewers have been here for the 4th of July celebration that's put on by our neighborhood association. But thanks to COVID, we will not be having that in 2021, and we hope all our neighbors come back in 2022 for the 4th of July celebration. But I bet a lot of our viewers don't know that this home is a home to many community groups. The Louisville Mandolin Orchestra meets here. The Louisville Historic League has met here for over 45 years. Our neighborhood association and partner, the Crescent Hill Community Council, calls the Peterson-Doomsdale House home. And also, FABA, our Frankfort Avenue Business Association, meets here, as well as the Crescent Hill Garden Club. Well, speaking of the Garden Club, that's why we're here tonight. Our partner, the Crescent Hill Garden Club, is having a fabulous event coming up. It's their annual garden tour. And these properties are just one of the properties on the garden tour. You're going to hear about all of them from their representatives soon. But before I introduce you to her, I just want to let you know that we are going to have some fabulous door prizes tonight. What could you win? Well, you could win free tickets to the garden tour. Or don't you all love the photographs of Louisville photographer John Nation? He has done some fabulous photos of the house that we've turned into note cards, and they're also going to be some of our door prizes tonight. So how can you win these prizes? Really easy. All you have to do is in the comments section below, just ask a question. Any question you ask is considered an entry, and every question you ask is an additional entry. We'll be drawing those door prizes tomorrow, but more importantly, we're going to be answering your questions as we walk the grounds. Now, I'm not much of a gardener, don't know much about plants, so I've got an expert here. I'd like to introduce you to the member of the Crescent Hill Garden Club, member who's going to help us point out some of the fabulous plantings as we walk the property. Please welcome Sarah Clement. Sarah?
Hi, it's good to see you, Melissa.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We have a lot of things blooming, don't we, around here?
We do. This is a great time. all kinds of things are in bloom. There are lovely annuals as well as the perennials.
And that's the thing that I love. I love the annuals because when I see them being planted and then, maybe
Yeah.
3 weeks later, they're just, going like gangbusters. But one of the questions I've always had about the garden club, since I don't have a green thumb, is do I have to know a whole lot about plants to be a member of the garden club?
You really don't. So we are a group of people ranging from master gardeners to novices. And I consider myself a novice. We like to play in the garden and have been on the garden tour, but we are still learning every day. So it's a wide range of skill levels and just a lot of people who have interest in planting and like to get together and have fun.
So, I drive down Frankfort Avenue or Brownsboro Road, and I see a lot of those annuals are out, in front of stores enticing you to come by. I could buy that and plant it and maybe make a mistake, but if I came to a garden club meeting, there could be someone there who could help me do it better the next time.
There could.
Or do it right the first time.
And you can always also go on our Facebook page. The Crescent Hill Garden Facebook page, you can ask any question you want.
Anytime I can do that?
You can do that anytime. If you have questions about what's going on, the cicadas, say, if they're going to hurt your trees, you can go on Facebook
And ask those questions.
and ask those questions.
Well, before we go walk the property, because the property is one of the many gardens that will be on the garden tour.
Right.
The garden tour is annual? You do it every year?
We do. So since 96, I believe, we have done it every year with the exception of last year, which was virtual.
Wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. Guess about that. But John Nation did an awesome job of making a virtual tour with great music to go along with it. But it is annual, so it's the first Saturday in June.
So someone like me who doesn't really maybe plant pretty landscapes around her yard, or someone who really does take time, it's for everyone?
It is. So I've always loved going, even before we had our garden, just to get ideas, just to be inspired, just to see what's around in the neighborhood.
And if I wanted to go, well, first of all, entice me a little more. How many gardens am I going to see?
So there are a total of 10 gardens.
Oh my gosh.
So that includes the Peterson-Dumenil house, and we'll have a map, and I think you have one of those. It lists all the plants more than what we'll be able to talk about tonight. So you can take a self-guided tour while you're here.
Let me get these
Plus-
papers arranged a little bit.
Yeah.
I love this because it's so cool. We have a brand new map.
It is brand new, updated, and it's lovely. You can take yourself around, find the things that interest you, and
So I could
Check 'em
stop
out.
at this bush right here. I could
can.
find it on the map, and then over in the key, it will tell me exactly what it is.
it will. And it has the Latin name as well as the household name.
Now, so there are 9 other properties. How do I know which ones they are, and how am I going to get to them?
So one of those other properties is the Beargrass Creek development, and then there are 8 homeowners. And so what you do is you can go online to our website, the Crescent Hill Garden Club website. You can purchase your ticket ahead of time. That'll make it really easy on the day of. You can just come and verify your purchase and be on your way, and you'll be given a list with addresses, of course, of all the properties,
Okay, great.
and with a brief description, and then you'll go to those places and they'll be marked, so it'll be really easy.
But I could show up here Saturday, June 5th,
You
and I
could.
could walk. I think you're going to sell them right here.
We
right?
are. We'll have tables set up
COVID
here.
safe.
It
So-
will be
yeah.
very COVID safe.
Yeah.
Just
And I could buy my
$15.
Just $15
Just
for 10
$15.
gardens?
Yep.
That's a bargain.
Plus, we'll have an herb sale, so you can get a pot of 3 herbs.
Now that I might be able to grow, Sarah, without killing it.
I think you could.
Okay,
I
all
know
right.
you can.
Well, I know that our viewers really want to see what is sprouting along the grounds. So let's slowly walk the grounds and see what you see.
Yeah.
And let me know a little bit about them. So let's head over here and just show me what's planted around the house.
So like I said, I'm not an expert, but I know shade gardens a little bit, and that's something I really appreciate about the Peterson-Dumenil property is that it really showcases what you can do with shade.
Oh, great,
Because
yeah.
you know, a lot of the things you see in nurseries and maybe on TV
Bright sun.
are the bright, yeah, the annuals that take a lot of, you know, bright sun, and the real colorful things. I love looking at things in the shade that have variation in the leaves.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so, you know, instead of bright flowers, so this is a great example.
Oh, I love the leaves, yes.
It's called lungwort.
Lungwort.
So it's at the end of its blooming, but it has those beautiful little blue blooms. They're just a little more subtle than maybe some sun plants. And then coral bells are,
Oh, I see 'em.
those are
Yes,
blooming with
yeah.
the little star kind of shaped leaves.
And Sarah, I spy
Yeah.
a rhododendron that looks like it's the color of your shirt.
It is. It's beautiful. Yeah, those rhododendron are just showy.
Yeah.
That's really one of the showiest shade plants I think there is.
Yeah.
And it's doing its thing. I think it's
Yeah.
just starting. So, and then these are some autoleucon, which are laurels, and they're great for the shade, and they're evergreen.
Oh, the green leaves are gorgeous. I mean, green is a good color. It's beautiful.
It
Yeah,
is, and
so
then-
many shades of green.
And they've already bloomed, but they have a nice little white bloom.
You know, as we round the corner, there's a stake in the ground over here. And that is because here at the Peterson-Dumenil House, we have dedicated areas where if someone wants to remember someone, they can plant a tree. And in the future, this stick here is going to be a gorgeous tree on the property dedicated to a neighborhood icon, Barb Senai. She's past president of the Neighborhood Association, past president of the Peterson-Dumenil House Foundation. I remember her as the person who does all of our land development and code, and I worked with her on 2 Crescent Hill neighborhood plans. There's no way the community could ever thank her enough. And every time I walk by this tree in the future, I'm always going to remember her because she taught me so much about community organizing and really giving back to the area where you live. I hope our viewers know that this is an opportunity that we have, although we have 76 species on,
Right.
on the ground, we're always looking for new ones. And we
Right.
would love to dedicate them in honor or in memory of someone.
Right, yeah, and as we walk this way, we'll have an opportunity to see several plants, trees.
Well, as we walk this way, Sarah, guess what? In Facebook, the questions are already coming in. So
Awesome.
it is either that they really want to learn something or they want a door prize.
Well,
so,
or both.
Sarah, how big are the grounds of the Peterson-Dumenil House?
So they're actually 1.3 acres, so which doesn't sound like a lot. And what you see, a lot of the property that you see back behind the cherry trees and over on the other side of the house is part of the school system.
Which is
So-
wonderful because it just tells you that the Jefferson County school system is a partner with this home because their kids share this ground. They have recess out here, which is really lovely.
And the garden club has also partnered with the schools. We planted some trees on the other side of the driveway there.
Yeah.
So Jane Magnolias.
I venture to say a lot of plantings on this property the garden club has planted.
So
Oh, look at this, Sarah. The questions keep coming in.
We take pride in partnering with the PD House and a lot of other community organizations.
You may or may not know this answer.
Okay.
What is the oldest plant on the grounds, and what do you do to maintain it?
So we haven't gotten to it yet, but the oldest tree is
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
the ginkgo.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that.
We'll get
in
to
a
that.
little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get to that because it is 150 years old. It's an
It is.
old person on the. I'm going to say an old man because we know it's male.
That's true
Yeah.
because it doesn't have the fruit,
Yeah.
the stinky fruit.
Yeah.
This is very true.
I see another tree over here that's been dedicated, which is wonderful.
Yeah. So this is the Seven Sons tree.
Oh, this. What? Why Seven Sons?
So this one here is a maple. but
Oh, okay.
it's behind
Oh, is a Seven Sons.
Seven Sons, and that was given in honor of Jackie Linderman,
Oh.
who was one of the original members of the garden club.
Yeah.
And
that looks like it's been here a while. Looks, like it's been
has.
growing.
It has, and it has year-round interest, and it has what look to be 2 blooms. So it has the bloom and then an after after bloom. So it's just really interesting. And the bark, you can tell, is kind of mottled.
Yes.
So it just has a lot of
Almost
cool
like the
things about it.
peeling kind of bark, yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me the name of that tree one more time.
Seven Suns.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah. And
You
I think
know-
that has to do with how the leaves are.
I've walked this property many times. I'm learning something new just by talking to you tonight.
I see something different every time I walk it as well.
Well,
This actually, we were talking about the things original to the house.
uh-huh.
This is a mock orange bush, which was here when the house was built.
Wow. So this has got to be at least 150 years old too. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, Sarah, I spy a picnic and it doesn't look like we've been invited.
No, it doesn't. It looks good though. But this is, I mean, feeling that breeze, this just, in this gorgeous day, it just really makes me think of how great it is. And there are so many benches. This is the perfect place for a picnic.
Sarah, I wanted to tell the people who are watching that we want people to come here.
Yeah.
People may think this is a private home. It isn't. It's everybody's home, and we want them to come to the grounds. So we put this cute little The Perfect Picnic on our Facebook page. It's a checklist. It's adorable. I think everyone knows what they want to bring to their own picnics, but it just is to say you are welcome here.
It really is such a community resource.
Yeah, and we're lucky we have a lot of wonderful parks, but you're welcome here. Oh my gosh, and more questions coming through. I think they all want to win those John Nation note cards, or they want garden tour tickets.
Definitely.
What are some good flowers to put out to display inside the house? Oh, wait a minute. To put out.
Yeah, to cut.
Oh, to
cut and put
cutting flowers. Oh, yeah.
So some of the ones around here that are really good for that are peonies that we'll
Yeah.
come to in a minute. Those make great cut flowers. You just want to make sure you get all the ants off because they're great ant collectors.
Before you bring them in the house.
Exactly. I would recommend that. And roses
Oh,
also.
yes.
We'll
yeah,
get
we
to
have
those.
a beautiful knockout rose garden.
Yeah,
So,
in the
yeah.
event garden.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those two really come to mind.
Yeah. Before we walk around and see those gorgeous peonies, look at the peeling bark on this tree. What is this tree here?
That is a river birch.
Wow, I know birch trees.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this river birch and how it's bending so interestingly, and the bark. I love the bark peeling way up at the top. That's really gorgeous.
Yeah, and a lot of river birches have multiple trunks, but this one just has
A
the
single,
one.
yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking. It's multiple and thinner.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They come in lots of different forms,
Okay.
but they're used to being like by the river is kind of where they came from.
Would that larger trunk mean that it's older, or is it just the form of the tree?
It looks to me like it would be older. Nowhere near as old as the house, I'm sure, but I would guess it's probably close to. I really don't know exactly how old it is, but yeah, it's been there for a while.
Serious, we're kind of getting towards the backyard. I look at this tree bush straight ahead that almost looks like it has white flowers, but I think those are just variegated leaves. What is that?
Yeah, they are. It's called a dappled willow.
Oh my gosh, it's
And-
so beautiful
yeah,
set
so
against
that's-
this dark green holly.
Yeah, that's another really good example of how shade plants, just don't have to be boring.
Oh my gosh,
and
it almost
can
looks
have
like someone
interest.
sprinkled baby powder on it.
It does,
Yeah.
So the new growth is lighter. So as it ages, as those new leaves age, they'll turn darker. But right now, it's just gorgeous. It just really sets
Mm-hmm.
off.
Well, I'm loving seeing all these different colors of green, but I can't help my eyes just stop and catch. I see a maple over there, and I see these poppies, and that color is just stunning.
Yeah, those peonies.
Yeah. Oh, peonies. Thank you.
Yeah,
I always
that's
say
right.
the P incorrectly.
They're both peas.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Now, I
But-
think I know that that's a maple, but it's an unusual maple.
So that's a Japanese maple.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why. And
So-
that umbrella shape or mushroom shape. but I just knew it because of the color. But the leaves look different. It's very unusual.
Yeah, so that red really stands out, and the new growth you can see is the brighter red, and then as it ages, it'll turn a little darker.
You know, Sarah, I saw this tree when it was being planted as a little baby.
Did you?
Because it's another tree that was planted in memory of one of our neighborhood icons, and that's Russ Maple. He was a commissioner here, elected member of the Jefferson County. They weren't magistrates at the time, commissioner, and a former board member here at the house, and had done so much for the neighborhood and the community. So it's lovely that there's a piece of him on this property forever.
I love that legacy.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, now look at this bright pop of color.
Yeah, so these peonies, there's some pink ones, and then there's white.
I love the white
ones.
mixed in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
think
gorgeous.
I like that mixture.
Yeah, and look at all of this looks like hundreds that are ready to pop.
Yeah, they're just getting started. You
Yeah.
can tell. Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous for weeks. So when the garden tour goes on, it'll still be going.
Oh my gosh, and look at this pink and purple together. What do we
Yeah.
have going on over here?
So the pink are primroses. They spread really easily. So if you have an area that you want to fill in, those are a great thing, and they can do sunlight as well.
And then your eye can just wander because there's more primrose over there with
There
some
are.
purple iris and some red roses. The
Yeah.
color is just lovely. Oh gosh, Sarah, got to keep you busy here. People want to win door prizes. They have questions. Are the cicadas damaging the grounds? You know what? Our president said his wife came from Chicago and didn't know cicadas,
Right.
and she has been reading about them like, invaders are coming. So,
Right. It seems scary to people who especially haven't been through them before, but they're not yet doing anything to the grounds.
Yeah.
In general, they don't hurt things.
Yeah, they really
just-
are just coming out of the grounds. They're going to eat, they're going to mate, and they're going to go away.
Exactly. So you're going to have a lot of noise and a lot of shells, but yeah.
But if I get scared about cicadas around my plants or whatever, I can put a question into the Crescent Hill Garden Facebook, and
Exactly.
you all can allay my fears.
Exactly.
You can tell me that they're not going to be bad.
Exactly. So
Okay.
if you have specific questions
Yeah.
about specific plants.
Okay, so
with them.
someone else would like to know, this is interesting, does Mother Nature water these beautiful grounds, or is there an irrigation system on the ground?
So we are very, very fortunate to have Rich and Sherry,
Oh,
who are
the Gehrings, our caretakers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and they take care of the watering, take
Yeah.
care of the irrigation.
Yeah, and then Mother Nature helps along the way too.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. As we walk this way, I know we're going to get to one of, I think, the first questions, and that is, what is the oldest plant? Unless there's something else along the way you want to talk about. But I spy in front of us a mammoth tree.
I feel like you don't really realize how big it is until you go right up next to it.
Yeah.
Just kind of because it's tucked away in the back, you may miss it when if you come for an event in the front.
Yeah.
But it is just amazing.
Incredible. Sarah, pull a leaf. I don't know, we don't want to damage the tree. Pull a leaf down and let's look. Oh, there we go. You know what I love? It's not a shape of a lot of leaves you see.
It's very unusual.
And it's deep green.
It
And
is.
something unusual about that leaf is?
That in the fall it will turn yellow, and they will all turn yellow about the same time.
So they aren't going to go through yellow, red, light red, whatever. They're all going to be golden yellow.
Yep.
Yeah. And I know there's another big secret about this tree. What happens when it's time for the fall and leaves to fall?
They fall almost all within one day. It's pretty incredible.
You know, I actually had a ginkgo tree in my mom's front yard, so I knew this. And when it happened, it laid a yellow carpet all over the front yard. It was so gorgeous. We didn't want to rake them up.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah, I just think they're amazing.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know this, but because we have people who will pull up in our parking lot, get out of the car, they'll walk straight to the back of the house to look at this tree, get back in their car. People come here just to see this tree.
I can believe it. It's one of the oldest trees in Kentucky.
Yeah, and about how big around is it?
28 feet.
We're going to get up a little closer and we'll see how close it is. The other thing about this that is so interesting is that people love it so much. Did you know that the Peterson Doomnell House fashions a contest around this tree?
I had heard that.
Well, every fall we ask, when will the ginkgo leaves fall? And you can enter to win a door prize. Now, who could be the judge of that? Because someone has to be watching it. Well, the good news is the carriage house is right to the left of this tree.
Yeah, they
so
have
our caretaker is the official, and he's the one that decides today is the day that all the leaves fell. So I can see someone is saying we have more questions. So let's see what we have. Okay, Jen, either people want to win prizes or they just have lots of questions about this property. Ooh, I love this. Are there any poisonous plants on the ground? Why do people either are nervous about, I don't know if I want to have a green thumb or not.
That's true. Probably for dogs there may be, but for people there are
For
not.
humans. Safe for humans.
As far as we know,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Thank
So
goodness.
let's see what this person wants to know. Is the large elm tree original to the house?
So that's the one that we passed. It was on the side,
Uh-huh.
and it was just huge.
Huge, yeah.
But it is, we don't think that it was original to the house. We think that it was planted in the early 20th century.
Well, you know, the owner of this home, Joseph Peterson, was a tobacco merchant.
Okay.
And he built this home as his summer home. So, you know, he probably came out here and put a few things in, but as they lived here longer, like we do in our own homes, he may have added more things. So,
Yeah.
you know, we don't know exactly when it came in, but let's walk up a little closer to this ginkgo tree so we can just see how big around it is.
Yeah.
So it is true that we have measured, and it is,
20,
look at this.
28 feet around.
If you and I
That's a
tried
lot
to
of-
link fingertips, the fingertips we couldn't get around
My
it.
arms aren't that long.
Yeah, and the thing that I find interesting about it, Sarah, is it looks like it's 3 or 4 trees.
It does.
It doesn't look like one.
Yeah, it almost looks like several melded together.
Yeah.
But it's incredible.
Yeah, you just do not know how huge it is until you get up close and see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it reminds me of like the redwoods experience. You know, you just feel small in
Yeah.
its presence.
Now, I want to ask you, we've had the public asking you a question. I want to ask you a question because as we rounded the corner, I see things that look like blueberries
Yeah.
growing on this bush. I have seen them so often, and I thought, do we have a blueberry bush on our property? What is this?
They do look like blueberries or grapes, but it's an Oregon grape holly, I believe it's called.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous?
And it's really not a holly, actually, but yeah, they're just really interesting looking.
color,
Not edible, but
Yeah.
but really interesting looking. And the bushes do well in shade, and they have, as you can see, there's a lot of variation in the colors of the leaves. It's just a really nice shade plant.
As I get up closer to it, now I know it's not a blueberry bush because the little fruits are not round. They're almost almond shaped or plump almonds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do have an
A
unusual
little point to them.
yeah.
Really interesting.
But you can see, especially like on this clump over here, that there's just a really lot of variation in the colors. So they'll just continue to turn, and every
Deeper
season.
purple and deeper. Do these berries change colors too?
They do.
Oh,
yeah.
good. You know, that's what's so interesting about the property. It's always changing.
Right. So no matter what season you come
Yeah.
in, there's going to be something growing, something changing.
Yeah, you got to
So-
come back and come back.
Yeah, most definitely.
Sarah, I'm going to ask you to look at me. Don't look anywhere else. As
Okay.
we walk, look at me.
Okay, I will
There
do
may
that.
be someone sitting on a bench, but don't look.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm looking at you.
I don't know if you know, but we have a resident at this home. Her name is called the Lady in White. And I don't know if you've read Steve Weiser's book, The Haunted Houses of Louisville, but he features the Lady in White. And I'll tell you this story in a nutshell. They think, if you believe such things, they think that this is one of Joseph Peterson's daughters and that she apparently lost a child and that after her death she has come back to roam the properties and look for her lost child. Now, whether you believe in ghosts or not, I don't know, but people have had wedding pictures, and in the wedding pictures, there are arcs, like the ghost is there.
Yeah.
We have our treasurer, Mike DeRiff, has been here doing work at night, and he hears the thud, 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 that there's apparently someone in the home. And we had a contractor who was here who told Jane Rose Betts, who's on our house committee, I don't know if I'm going to do work here again. I swear there was someone in the house with me. So whether you believe it or not, there is a fable that the lady in white, the ghost, still lives on this property.
As long as she's friendly. That's how,
Yes, we've never heard anything that she was menacing at all.
Well, thank goodness.
She's a mother looking for a child.
Yeah, yeah.
So as we
such
come
an
to the
interesting-
side of the house, look how beautiful the side of the house looks with those eyebrows over the window.
It's amazing.
And this beautiful work at the top of the house, those are our gutters. Those are the eaves. But look how beautiful they made them 150 years ago.
Everything is just so ornate.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah. I love the medallions over the top windows. Those actually help with the air conditioning system. They actually open up to let air through.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very cool. So these are I think that these are just beautiful too. They're not blooming right now, but these are limelight hydrangeas.
Ooh, do you know what color they're going to bloom when they do bloom?
So the limelights are kind of a greenish white. So it's they're really interesting. They're different from a lot of the hydrangeas that you see.
And I see another marker on this tree, which is really nice. Uh-oh, more questions, Sarah.
Okay.
Let's see if you know this answer. It's just like Jeopardy. Da, 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 da. What's a good tree to plant in the wet parts of your yard? Maybe you have a slope and a little water, maybe get down there more.
So you know that tree that we were looking at on the other side of the house, the river birch?
Oh, with the peeling bark?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Sycamore is another good tree.
Okay. Sycamores grow pretty big though, don't they?
They do.
They do. So if you wanted a big tree, that would be a good one.
Yeah, the river birch, as you can see, they get big, but not as big, I would say, as a sycamore. And I love these too, the lilies of the valley back here. I think they've already bloomed.
We just missed the bloom,
yeah,
didn't we? Yeah,
we did. But
the
those are,
fragrance of those. Look at this. It's a pretty thick patch, isn't it?
it is, yeah. And they're such a good shade plant. It can be in almost full shade and just do great. And they spread, so they'll fill in an area like this.
Yeah. Now, Sarah, as we walk this way, many people who think about the plantings at the Peterson Dumanel House identify with what we're going to next. And that, of course, is something that you, the Garden Club, gifted to this home.
Yeah.
That's our rose garden, our events garden, or our wedding garden.
Yeah, so I think you're right. Imagine a lot of people that may be their only experience with the Peterson Dumanel House or the grounds. But it's right now the knockout roses are just doing their thing. They
Look
are
at that color.
in full bloom.
Yeah.
And then we have these great annuals too, some petunias.
Yeah, our caretaker's wife, Sherry, is someone who patiently plants all of those. They're just so gorgeous.
Does a fabulous job.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a canna in the middle, which hasn't bloomed.
That almost looks fake. It's so gorgeous.
I know, it does.
Look at that.
I mean,
It's just so gorgeous.
all those layers, those peonies.
Yeah.
So those are the same as what we saw on the side there.
Now, Sarah, I have knockouts like these, but they aren't as blooming like this. These are just going to town. But I do get a little bit of this on mine. Do you know anything about that? Or
So-
is that something I should put in the chat box?
That would be a great question for the Facebook page. I personally am not a rose person because those tend to be sun, and I don't have a lot of sun. But you could put that question on the Facebook page for the Garden Club, and there is someone who I think could give you an answer.
So mine looks exactly like this with these kind of challenges. So now I know I've got a friend who can help me with
You
these
do.
questions. Yeah.
Indeed.
You know, the one thing I love about this garden, it's small, it's intimate, but if you needed more people, we have people who stand around the garden to enjoy this. I've been to many weddings where a bride and groom have sat here. We've had people read poetry here, a small band here. And I'm not sure if you know, but Our house is conducting its first ever, believe it, we've owned this, the neighborhood has owned this for 45 years, capital improvement project. And we're closing it up now, but one of the very visible projects with the capital improvement project is going to be expanding this space to be an event space. We want the garden club to have an outdoor meeting here.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
we want people who, to do a poetry tree slam here. And if it was a little bit bigger, I'm not sure if you know, but the Boy Scout Troop 1 meets over there in the grass. They might use this event space to hold their meeting. So if anyone wants scout information, we have a wonderful scout troop here in our neighborhood. So call the Peterson-Doom Middle House. We'll let you know about it. So we use this outdoor garden for so many things, and we wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for the garden club.
Well, we really like the partnership with all kinds of organizations in the community.
Again, I'm spying some huge, what are these? I think these come up every year. What are these under the tree?
You're talking about the pink and white?
well,
or
well,
those are the hostas.
The hostas?
Is that what you're, okay,
Well, I have hostas, but I guess not looking like this, so I imagine there are a lot of varieties.
There are a ton of varieties. There are some really interesting ones like these that are variegated. There's a variety that we planted a couple of years ago called curly fries.
Really?
And the leaves have these little curls to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are some that are dark blue. There are some that have huge leaves. There are some that are little bitty. Some that are variegated with white and green.
Yeah.
All kinds.
So good shade. Good shade
Excellent
plants.
shade, and they will bloom. They'll have those little spikes that come up with purple blooms.
And now I'm looking over here at all this color, and I'm seeing lots of more questions before we go look at the color. Let's see if you know this one, Sarah.
Okay.
What are those interesting red leaf plants on the end of the parking area? Oh, okay, we'll walk up there.
Yeah.
I think I know what they're talking about. We'll walk up there.
Okay.
But let's go look at these first, and then is this what they're talking about up here? At the end of the parking area.
I think they're talking about to the right.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll go over there and look. But look at these annuals, I'm assuming, but that lilac color is gorgeous.
Yeah, that is really pretty. Those are impatiens.
Okay, again, they're different than the ones I've planted or gotten at the Oscar's Hardware.
Yeah, and they come in a variety of colors, and they're good for shade also.
And I see another shade thing with some white coming up under this tree.
I'll have to walk a little.
You have to walk up closer to
see
see it. Okay.
I do.
Oh, I think I know what it is from here.
Yeah, those look like petunias.
It does.
to me.
Yeah, it looks like it. So it looks
Yeah,
like they're
just
probably
little
going to
dainty.
spread. They're dainty and they're
Yeah.
going to spread. So
And
do you think you know what is red at the end of the parking lot?
I do. Can I show you one more thing over here
Absolutely, yeah.
before we walk over there? These are hellebores, and I was
Which
talking
which
about.
one is that?
So there are a multitude
This one
of
here?
types. Yeah.
Oh,
so
this one here?
all of these right here are hellebores, and they come in all kinds of colors. We have one that's like dark purple, almost black. But I just wanted to point that out as a really great shade plant.
Oh, I
And-
would have never thought of that, but now that I'm looking at it, it's so dainty and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, and they're actually evergreen. A lot of the foliage is evergreen, and they are one of the first things to bloom in the winter.
Oh, in the winter?
The late winter, early spring. They will bloom, and you feel like you have hope. So
Anything else interesting that's touching the home here?
I think that these plants, I think we saw on the other side.
Okay.
So the lungwort and the coral bells. And this is a huge hellebore right here.
Yes, I can now see. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's,
That one probably has been here a while, right?
I would imagine, yeah, and they
Oh,
spread
that's so
and multiply.
sweet.
It just has those really beautiful colors.
Yeah, so
really
sweet.
subtle. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now someone asked a question about something red.
So I think we need to go down here. So,
Is it this drooping thing?
yeah.
I don't want to say drooping.
So what do you think those are?
Well,
So they are actually red buds. They're weeping red buds.
oh,
So those they're really
wow.
unusual. And one of the really cool things that you were talking about having trees in honor of people, a lot of those are just things you wouldn't find anywhere else or many places. but it's a weeping red bud, and they were given in honor of someone.
You know, Sarah, you have shown me so many things that I have walked by and just not known. And you've also told me we have many things here that are different and unusual and special. And I think the thing that I like that will happen this year is that we have this key now. We have this map.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So we're
pull
really
that map
hoping
down. Yeah,
that
there you go.
now that we have that, and it's going to be available to people anytime, not just on the garden tour, but anytime people can get it on the front porch. We'll have some copies there, and people can feel free to just come and take a self-guided tour and just check out what's of interest to them. And you know, if they find something here that they think, oh, that's just really cool, I wonder what that is, they now
And
have
if
a
I
way
can
to
plant it in my yard.
Exactly.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I hate to say it out loud because I'm afraid, you know, I may not execute it, but I think I'm going to get my own map and put in my name on it, and I'm going to try to cross off as many of those as I can to say I've looked at it all.
Ooh, I like that. And it would be cool to do that at different times of the
Yeah,
year
yes,
too.
yes. Yeah.
Because some of them you won't be able to see at all times of the
Yeah.
year, like in the winter,
Right.
obviously.
Well, Sarah, let's walk back up to the
Okay.
front porch of the house, and we'll see if there are any more questions that are coming in.
All right.
But of course, we know you can get your questions answered on the Crescent Hill Garden Facebook page.
Yes,
More
we do.
importantly, they could probably talk to all of the members if they come to the tour on January 5th. June.
Wishful thinking.
I
It's
got a
getting
J,
hot.
and it's like my peonies, and
You got the letter right.
I got
yeah.
the P right. Yeah.
Yeah, June
Yeah.
5th.
Well, I think it's
So-
important. Let's talk about that garden tour one more time before we say goodbye to our viewers. It's going to be on a Saturday, and what time does it start?
So it's 9 to 5.
But 5 is when you got to be out of the people's yards.
Exactly.
Okay, so
yeah.
probably coming, you know, from 9 until 3,
Probably,
because it's going to
yeah.
take a couple hours to get to
Yeah.
all the garden. If you
I
want
would
to get your
probably even
money's
say
worth.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to get your money's worth.
Just so you don't feel rushed
Yeah.
getting to all the
Yeah.
gardens. Yeah.
And I can buy my ticket online,
You
and I
can.
could buy my ticket right
the
here.
day of.
Come in
and
here.
And I was telling you about the herb sale before too, and you can even purchase those ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can do that online when you get your ticket. If
Well,
you would like.
Sarah, it's been a pleasure being here with you. You know, I think we have always had a fabulous partnership with the Garden Club. I probably have learned more about what you all do and about this property and what's on this property than ever before by just taking a walk with you.
I'm so glad.
So it pays to connect up with people who have knowledge.
It
so
does.
hopefully people will connect with the Garden Club and get their questions answered. And I want to invite all of our viewers to come to these grounds, enjoy them. This is the neighborhood's house. This is the community's house. These grounds are open and we want you to enjoy them. Please go to our Facebook page, petersonduminal.org, and like us on our Facebook page. And also, if you would like to get more information, you can sign up to get our electronic news. We thank all of you for being with us here tonight. I know we have a lot of people who maybe their questions didn't get asked, but will be entered into the door prize drawing, and you're going to be notified of those prizes tomorrow. Thank you all from the Crescent Hill Community Council, from the Louisville Mandolin Orchestra, from the Louisville Historical Society, and most importantly from the Crescent Hill Garden Club, along with the Peterson Duminal House Foundation. Thanks for watching. Come back again.